Yeah, that's a good boy. Yeah.
Oh, he went right down.
Yeah, he's tired.
Why have our videos been so far behind lately? And where are we at today? Let's talk about it. A few of you out there in the comments have mentioned that our videos are behind. And not just a month or so, but a few months behind.
You even got a couple of people so upset they unsubscribed.
That's true. And while I understand that a little bit, it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me because videos on YouTube get watched for years and years and years. And we mention the time and date specifically so that when people are watching it, they go, oh, that was in August, or oh, that was in October. Mm-hmm. And then they can kind of get an idea of what the weather's like and what the overall area is like during that time. So today we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're also going to talk about where we have been for the past few months and where we're at now. Okay, Louie, time to go.
Time to go.
Okay, and I did answer that in the comment section. It's fairly simple. Last summer, when we left Florida in April, we had an extremely crazy and busy summer vacation where we were filming and sightseeing and touring the entire East Coast.
Yeah, we had a solid, packed travel itinerary, lots of stops, lots of miles, short window of time, and that kept us busy. The time went so fast and it was nonstop action.
We pretty much filmed the entire trip from Savannah to Charleston to the Outer Banks to Cape May, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, Martha's Vineyard, which we never thought we'd go to, and all the way up to Bar Harbor, Maine. So on top of that, we then entered Canada, threw on a few more 1,000 miles and even more filming up in the entire eastern seaboard of Canada.
Yeah.
And all of that combined just kind of set us back a little bit in the editing portion of YouTube. Filming's the easy part.
Yeah, it was just nonstop film, work.
So after visiting friends and family in the Midwest for about a month or so, we then headed west, where we really wanted to go to. We wanted to start boondocking. We wanted to be out in the freedom of the wide open. And then the wheel incident happened. We have a serious problem.
What? Yeah, we were really excited to slow it down, but not to a screeching wheel ejection halt.
Not that slow.
Not that slow.
So you saw us spend a few weeks in the Badlands, which was extremely enjoyable. And then we made our way fixing the rest of the wheel situation, getting into southern Utah, kind of escaping the cold weather because we kind of got that late start to our fall portion of traveling because we were still in Canada pretty late into summer.
So at this point, getting into Utah, it was early November, like the first week of November.
Yeah, and we wanted to spend a couple weeks in the southern Utah area. But again, that cold kind of late fall, wintry weather started, and we were getting a lot of rain and some cold weather in southern Utah.
Yeah, we were fighting the snow at this point.
So that's where we last left off in our videos that we've been doing lately. And in the winter time, we kind of slow it down a little bit, and we don't record as much. We aren't doing as much traveling and sightseeing. We really slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, especially those holiday months, November and December.
Yeah. So we're gonna catch you up a little bit. Leaving southern Utah, going down the I-15 highway is a pretty magical route. It's really, for a highway, it's pretty beautiful. You go through southern Utah, like St. George, and then you cut across that tip of Arizona where like the canyon walls are nice and big, and it's
very scenic.
And then it drops you into, I guess, the valley of Nevada, where you get in more towards Las Vegas, where the temperature starts to heat up. Then you're really escaping that elevation of Utah and you're getting into the more flat area where it's much, much warmer. So we were heading towards the Palm Springs area, and you can take the 15 like all the way around the long route, but we like to cut through the National Mojave Preserve.
Yeah.
And that little area of land does not get talked about enough. There's not enough out there on that.
It's a little slice of just spookiness, yet nature, desolate, isolation, and it's a really fun drive. If you've never driven through it, go out of your way to experience it.
It has this Death Valley isolation feel, but then it throws in the beauty of the Joshua trees, like more Joshua trees than we've ever seen, maybe more than in Joshua Tree National Park.
Yeah, and I think the first time we went through there, you know, we were a little unsure of like, well, what is the diesel situation? Where are we going to be able to fill up? You know, you honestly don't feel like there's not very many services around, so you need to pay attention to fueling up before you enter and planning on fueling up after you get out.
And there's weird road construction, like closed roads, and it was like multiple years in between the first time and the second time we did this, and that same road closure was there. So it's like, you know, they're not actively fixing things around there. Like, it's pretty much you're on your own. Well, there's a campground, there's camping, I should say, in that national preserve. Actually, a lot of boondocking. I don't know how trailer or fifth wheel friendly it is, but I would say vans and smaller rigs that can get out there a little bit. It's an area we want to explore a little bit more because it actually dumps you down by Roy's Motel and Cafe on old Route 66.
And and that's like the beginning of like the artsy, eclectic, you start to get that Joshua Tree vibe in that area.
It's even like a Harvest Host location. There's much more tourists, much more people out there looking around, taking pictures of the Roy's sign.
It was a very inviting location for us to pull over, use the restroom in our RV, stretch the legs, take in the sights. After driving through like nothing, to see something quirky like that, it's like, man, this is pretty cool to go up and see the old motel rooms. It was really fun, and it was sunny, and it was quite the entrance into California where it's like, welcome to sunny California.
Next time, we are going to stay in that area and explore it a little bit more. But this time, we had reservations down in Palm Springs, and we hadn't been in an RV park for a couple months, so we were kind of looking forward to it. So Palm Springs is an area where lots of RVers go to for snowbirding and getting away from the cold weather. It's kind of unusual down there. Up until late October, it can still be 100 degrees. Hundreds. So really, it gets a lot nicer November, December, January, and so on.
Yeah.
For us, we really like to just slow it down, relax a little bit, get rid of that fast-paced travel that we were doing, and catch up on some of the fun things that we want to do, like hiking. Yeah,
and it was so perfect timing coming off of the fast-paced travel of 2024 and then following that recent wheel incident that we just had. Like, we really needed to hit Palm Springs, plug in, and decompress.
There's so much good hiking out there that a couple times a week we would just go to a new hike, one that we've never been on before, and just go and explore these long, fun desert areas.
Yeah.
So besides hiking, we got a little bit of maintenance done. I replaced the fuel filters on the Ram. You know, we hit 15,000 miles on the truck. We've had really no issues with the Ram. It's been driving really great, but I wanted to stay up on the fuel filter change. I didn't record the process, but there's tons of videos out there, and it ended up being way easier than I ever thought.
Yeah.
We ended up saving like $400+ in labor, and we really needed it because we were living in California for a couple months.
Yeah, when we were in St. George area, we did get the oil changed at the dealership there, and we got a price quote to get the fuel thing done. And it was just so high that Aaron felt confident doing it himself, which is great. He's so handy. So while we were there at that dealership, we just picked up the parts there. Yeah. And it was super convenient to get the parts from the dealership, take them with us. In Palm Springs, it was nice because you had a nice cement pad to work on, and everything just lined up.
And then the last portion of our wheel incident that we were waiting on was a new rim and a new tire from Alliance. Well, we found out that our rim was actually on back order at first, and then it was discontinued. So our gray style alloy rims were no longer being made. So we couldn't just get one.
And have a mismatch.
We had to get all 4 new ones.
Yeah.
So Alliance actually ended up sending out all new wheels for us, and good on them for doing that, because now we definitely feel like we're back 100% on the road. So moving forward, for Thanksgiving this year, we went and visited our good friends Jeff and Deb at Crystal Cove State Park in Southern California on the ocean, in between Newport Beach and Laguna Beach. And if you've never been there before, it is a pretty special little state park. It only has, I think, around 60 sites or 80 sites maybe, but they're all oceanfront. We've done a few videos.
Yeah, we've spent several Thanksgivings with the Spencers, and so it's a tradition that we really like to keep going. And spending it at Crystal Cove is so special. You know, you're in your RV at night, you can hear the waves crashing while you're sleeping. It's just a really special spot to be, and spending it with great friends is always awesome too.
Yes, very hard to get into, but if you're in the area and you can get in there, it's well worth a good long weekend. I wouldn't stay too long because I think it's like close to $100 a night.
I think it's like $78 a night. I was just gonna say, and it's even worth the hefty state park price tag.
Thanksgiving morning, we started out with a turkey trot.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fun tradition to do. Just
well,
go out there.
it's not a tradition. Well, the turkey trot was not a tradition.
It's not our tradition, but it's a tradition. Lots of people, I think millions of people do turkey trots on Thanksgiving.
It was our very first turkey trot.
But this was kind of special because it was right on the path of Huntington Beach, right on the ocean. I mean, it was such an amazing way to wake up. We did a 10K.
And there's not, like, you can't deny the energy of an organized race event. Even just a 5K, 10K, you have all the people there together. It's a holiday. Everybody's feeling good.
Yeah.
You know, friends and family are all around, and what a positive way to start the day.
I think we even got a picture with Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
So believe it or not, we did not do turkey this year for Thanksgiving. We wanted to kind of spice it up a little bit. And the Spencers had tomahawk steaks. I mean, tomahawk steaks, like the size of your head.
Yeah.
They're like just so big.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've ever had them. That was a really memorable experience on our campsite, cooking them on the ocean, and like just, I don't know, there's something about like that holiday memory, that beautiful sunset at the end of the night.
Yeah, it was really good. Tomahawk steaks for the win. You know, nothing makes me more happy than a steak dinner. So it was a good swap in my mind.
Yeah.
The bar has been raised. What are we going to do for Thanksgiving next year that's better than this year?
I don't know. Back to turkey. So moving along to Christmas this year, we went back to Palm Springs and we did something kind of special that we haven't done in over 10 years. And that is the famous tram in Palm Springs that goes from the valley floor up to the mountaintop of Mount Jacinto.
Yep.
And that is such a fun experience. If you've never done that tram ride, it's kind of pricey.
It's like $35 per person for round trip, I think. But it is a really cool experience. It brings, you don't realize the elevation change. It's like 10,000 feet that takes you up.
Yeah.
So you're going up the tram, you get this incredible view of the Palm Springs area.
Yeah.
Your ears are popping, the tram is rotating, so your view changes on the way up, and it's like a, 5 to 10 minutes ride up to the top?
It's pretty short. Well worth it.
If you've never done it before, I think it's worth it. And then, like us, you know, we might be on an every 10-year basis now with it, but once you're up there, it's not like you just take it up there and then you come back down right away. It's like you want to try to get up there early, because once you're up there, they have nature trails.
It's not just nature trails. The trail on top, it's called like the Rim Trail, I think.
Yeah.
And it's fairly short, maybe like 2-ish.
1.5?
Yeah, 1.5, 2 miles. But they have all these little lookout points. So it's a very doable hike for most people.
Yeah.
And the view at all of these lookout points is insane. Like, it's not just a little nature trail, like going through the woods. Like, you are literally going through the woods to then peer out into like these magical views of the valley down below.
Yeah, it's so vast. We even saw the Salton Sea from up there.
Yeah, you can see the Salton Sea.
It was really cool.
It's so big, you're like, it's hard to like wrap your head around
Yeah.
what you're looking at. So after your giant hike, no matter how big or small you do, you get to go back inside and enjoy a few restaurants. They have open bar, not an open bar, it's not a free bar, but
It's definitely not free.
it's not free in there. It's quite pricey, as you would imagine. But with, just to sit there and have a drink, or you can eat. But I was hoping to see snow up there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get that. And usually when we're in Palm Springs for the winter, we at least, from the ground level, we at least get to see a dusting of San Jacinto with snow on it from afar. We didn't get to see any snow this year by the time we left Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It was still snow-free. It was a very mild winter there while we were there.
Really nice. Not a lot of wind, beautiful temperatures, maybe a little even warmer than typical.
Yeah.
It was a great couple months to just slow down and relax. But you know us, soon after that, we get the itch under our wheels and we got to keep moving. There's nothing better than desert camping in the Southwest. There are so many great spots to come out and do boondocking out here. And one of our favorites that we really haven't talked about a whole ton or even shared a whole ton is American Girl Mine. It's way down south on the border of like Mexico, California, and Arizona. It's right in that little triangle down there.
Like you can pretty much landmark it closest to Yuma, Arizona.
Yes. And this area out there it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like Quartzsite, if you've been to Quartzsite, meaning it's very flat, very rocky.
Wide open,
good for any sized rig out there.
Very inviting. And
any sized rig.
It's an easy boondocking spot.
And it's got beautiful views of the mountains all around. But what it doesn't have is all the people.
Yeah.
It's not like Quartzsite with the thousands of RVs all around. It's a less busy, more beautiful version of Quartzsite.
And let's not forget the sunsets.
Pretty special. Everybody knows about the Arizona sunsets. This is actually in California, but California has good ones too. Our first night there, we were treated with one of the best sunsets we've ever seen.
Sunset of the year.
I don't know how many times we've said, that's the best sunset we've ever seen.
That's like every time we go to a national park. This is our favorite national park.
Yeah.
So getting into the desert and doing our boondocking in the desert, I think for me it was really special because last winter we were in Florida for the winter. We were in RV parks the entire time, and we've said several times how we were excited to get back to the West Coast and boondock. So here is our opportunity. Here is the beginning of winter. We had our experience in South Dakota, then Utah, now finally here in California and Arizona. And it's really great and satisfying to have this fifth wheel. This is a boondocking machine. This is something that you can drop in the desert, and we could easily do 2-week stints comfortably.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I found one of the scariest things I've ever found. Someone was just asking about rattlesnakes on the last video. We've never seen a rattlesnake ever, even in the thousands of miles we've hiked and ran around the desert. Never seen a rattlesnake. Probably stepped over a dozen of them. But what I found was a black widow on our water filter. A dead one. And I think it was with us for a while, and it was pretty scary. It's not something you want to see, is something that's building a nest inside your water filter that you pick up and move every couple weeks.
Grabbing with your putting your fingers into dark spots that you can't see.
So after AGM, we made our way up to Lake Havasu, which we do every other year or so to go to the Escapers annual bash up there.
Yes, we have been Escapers members since 2019. We've been doing presentations there as Irene Iron Fitness, doing seminars on nutrition, fitness, and strength equipment options for RVers. These are all important topics, and I love the opportunity to be with the community. We see a lot of friends, we meet a lot of new friends, and just sharing the good word on health and fitness. You know, a lot of RVers do struggle with maintaining a routine on the road, and it doesn't need to be a struggle. So I love sharing and motivating and inspiring, and it went really well. At the end of that event, my heart was very full. I was full of purpose and gratitude, and it was very fulfilling and overall very successful. We did one big group hike.
We've even done workouts along the way over the years, and we kind of found that, you know, when people are at like an event, like a rally, nobody wants to get up at 8 a.m. and go work out every day.
Well, some people do.
Yeah, they're about 1% of the population does.
Most do not, but some do.
So we've kind of like toned it back a little bit. Chris does 3 big presentations that have just increased year after year after year. So many people go to those and just love going to those presentations. So then what we kind of do to make it a little bit more open for everybody is we do this giant hike to Sarah's Crack, which is right across the street from the rodeo grounds. And it's basically a slot canyon hike. It's about 3 miles. And the first year we did this, we had like over 50 people. You know, imagine 50 people going on a hike. And this last year, it was like 35 plus people. It was pretty special to see that many people go on a large hike and just get up and enjoy the beautiful area that we're at. After Lake Havasu, we had a very, very quick meetup in Quartzsite. For Chris's PNP challenge members that started in January, and we went to Quartzsite kind of dreading going there because it was right before the big show was opening and there was thousands of people everywhere. We didn't know what was going to happen, if we were even going to get a site, and we ended up getting one of the best sites we've ever gotten in Quartzsite. Well, for Quartzsite, this is pretty darn good.
We have an excellent backdrop. It's really, this is the first time we've ever had like a view that doesn't involve any other RVs.
Well, it's not completely private, but this particular angle of our view is the most private we've ever had in Quartzsite.
Yeah. If you look out this window or that window or that window or that window, it's not.
Yeah, and it was private, and it was enough to fit a dozen rigs in there to have this meetup, and it was pretty, you know, serendipitous, I guess, that it all worked out that well, because you never know what you're going to get when you get to Quartzsite.
The entire experience was positively overwhelming. It was awesome. It was above my expectations. We had about 30 people there, and it's memories that I'll bring with me the rest of my life.
Yeah, and if we had more time, we probably would have been able to do a different style meetup, like with our channel friends here. We've never done a meetup before on the YouTube channel side, and you know, I don't know what that's going to look like, you know, how many people that would be, but if we had more time, we could have at least thrown it out there and got together, you know, for a quick meetup with that as well, which would have been really fun. But unfortunately, we only had a few days to spend in queue before we had to be on the road again. So here we are in the Southwest for the winter. Our videos are going to be a lot more current and up to date for you guys out there. We have lots of more fun dry camping planned. We have some new state parks that we've never been to that people have recommended we go to year after year after year. And we have a lot more fun stuff to share, and I'm excited about it.
2025 is going to be our best year yet. We're just kicking it off. We are in full gear. We got our fast-paced travel out of our system. We got our slow down, recoup out of our system, and we are ready to move forward.
We'll see y'all on the next video.
Bye! Ever wonder where the name Irene Iron Travels comes from? It's actually named after my online fitness and nutrition coaching business, Irene Iron Fitness. I help people move better, feel better, and eat better with strength training and real food. No fad diets, no harsh restrictions, no counting calories, and absolutely no processed food in a package. If you want to get stronger and feel better at any age, check the description below for the links with my new client special, or join in on our next and upcoming group challenge.